Spike's legacy in Fort William is the opening up, I would say, of the whole mountaineering scene in Fort William.
He's achieved a tremendous amount, especially for the Lochaber area, with the formation of the ski complex there.
Spike is a climber through and through. Spike is a climber first and everything else is second to Spike.
The impression I got when I climbed with him was that he was quite get up and go. He's very determined, quite gutsy, almost a little bit necky. I mean, not stupid, but a little bit necky.
The same in climbing, he would motivate himself wanting to do hard climbs, and fortunately he had the sense to always make sure he had a hard climber with him on the day.
When we go down to the climbing wall, he says he's colourblind, but I don't really believe he's colourblind. You know, Spike just digs into all these multicolours going up this climbing wall, and I don't really believe he's colourblind. He's just having me on, I'm sure of that.
Here we have somebody who's made a life out of the outdoors, and a very balanced one. I mean, a lot of people might not think that Spike's particularly well balanced, but you know, I think here's somebody who's dedicated his life to mountaineering and skiing and the outdoors generally, but also made it work in a business sense. And I think that same get up and go, gutsy determination has worked for both his climbing and for the business.
Spike set up Neversport. Him and Sudsy, they had a little shop in the high street, and that's where they first set up. One of the very first climbing shops ever, really. There, they set this small shop up, and of course Neversport just grew and grew and grew from that.
Neversport in the 70s was almost like an institution. It was like a hideout for reprobate climbers and down and out climbers. I mean, all sorts of people worked there, and really Spike was behind that. And you know, climbers aren't always the best people in the world to run the shop floor. They're unreliable. They're not really that interested. They just want to go climbing all the time. But that's Spike through and through, and he understood that and gave them the space.
What I always felt about him was, he's gifted. He is gifted in some things, but I thought one of his most startling gifts was the ability to start around an empty house. and that's what he does.
And then of course there's his involvement with Nevis Range. It was Spike's baby, Nevis Range. The whole thing was his baby.
Climbers like Spike have travelled. They've travelled around Europe. They've travelled to other parts of the world as a climber and as a skier, and they've been inspired by what they've seen there and thought, well, they've got that in Austria, they've got it in France, they've got it in Switzerland. Why can't we have it in Fort William? Somebody like Spike wouldn't let the wettest climate in the world get in the way.
I think he's got a lot of vision, but a lot of perseverance, and he can be quite persuasive. You know, he gets things done. And he really was, he had a lot of people helping, but he was really instrumental in getting Anachmore up and running.
You've got to say how much good it's done Fort William. I mean, it's done so much for the area, and of course ultimately it led on to the mountain bike downhill world championships, and a network of mountain bike tracks, and of course it's just been great for the tourist industry in general.
Spike was involved initially with the RAF Mountain Rescue when he was a member of the RAF, and then he moved on to civilian mountain rescue with the Lochaber Mountain Rescue team. But Spike was in the rescue team really up until fairly recently. I think illness sort of stopped him being in the rescue team for a while there. But rescue team, and that's part of his contribution to the area, being a member of the local rescue team.
He was a very well respected member of the Lochaber team for years and years. And the thing about him, I just remember getting bodies off Ben Nevis with him over the years, you know. And he would, well, like all the other chaps really, but he would really muck in and, you know, give his best.
Contributing to Lochaber in general is all part of Spike's makeup. You know, I think he loves the climbing, he loves the skiing, he loves the people, and I think by getting involved in the mountain rescue team, he is contributing further to the area.
Well, I can tell you, I think he deserves it, because he's done as much for the Lochaber area, and not just for Lochaber area, for people interested in sport, you know, from mountain biking to skiing to snowboarding, more than anyone else. And I think really it's overdue.
Thank you.